It had been months since Drew and I last had a quiet weekend together. Between his demanding job and my never-ending freelance projects, we'd gotten used to text instead of touch, calls instead of cuddles. When he told me he had to go visit his family out of town for a few days, I pretended I was fine with it. Go, I said. It'll be good for you. But deep down, I already felt the silence closing in around the apartment. The absence of his voice, his laugh, his scent, it hit faster than I expected. On the second night, I messaged Caleb. We hadn't hung out in months, maybe longer. He was my best friend all through high school, tall, confident, charming in that effortless straight boy way. We drifted after graduation. Life got busy, labels got sharper. I came out. He dated girls. And somewhere in between, the space between us became an awkward stretch of years and things left unsaid. But that night, I just wanted company. No expectations. You up for a movie night? I texted, popcorn and bad horror films? He replied within seconds. Hell yes. Been needing a break. When he showed up, it felt like no time had passed. He was still the same Caleb, messy hair, hood up, a six-pack under one arm, and a smirk that could break tension like a crowbar. He pulled me in for a hug, longer than expected. I felt his chest against mine, his breath warm near my neck. Damn, it's been forever, he said, flopping onto the couch like he owned it. We didn't talk much during the first movie. Just old jokes, random commentary, and the sound of crunching chips. I caught myself watching him more than I should have, his side profile, his hand movements, how he shifted his weight when he laughed. I blamed the wine. You still with Drew? He asked during a slow scene. I nodded. Yeah, he's visiting his mom. Left yesterday. Caleb nodded, chewing slowly. You two still good? We're trying. I hesitated. Things are just a little off lately. He leaned back, his shirt pulling slightly up his stomach. Yeah, me and Liv broke up last month. She said I was emotionally distant. He gave a dry chuckle. She's probably not wrong. There was something raw in his voice, something I hadn't heard from him before. I handed him another drink. He took it, his fingers brushing mine. Thanks, he said softly, not looking away. The second movie started, but neither of us was watching anymore. Our knees were touching now. I noticed, but I didn't move. I wasn't sure if he noticed too, or if he noticed and didn't care. I've missed this, he said suddenly. Us hanging out. No pressure. No pretending. I turned to him, our faces closer than they should have been. Pretending? He looked down at his hands, then up at me with a half smile. I don't know. Just always felt like I had to be a version of myself that fit everyone's picture. You're the only one who ever saw past that. My heart thudded hard. I didn't know what to say. It was the kind of thing you don't expect to hear from a straight friend. The kind of thing that hangs heavy in the room until someone either runs from it or reaches for it. The next scene on the TV flashed red and loud, but it was just noise. Caleb turned toward me a bit more, his knee pressing into mine. You ever wonder if we got some things wrong? He asked. I swallowed hard. Like what? He looked me dead in the eye. Like who we said we were. For a second, the world tipped. All the jokes we made in high school, the nights we stayed up playing video games, the shared glances that lasted a second too long, all of them came rushing back like a wave I hadn't realized I was holding back. I don't know, I whispered. Maybe. And still we didn't move. Our faces were inches apart. His breath smelled like beer and cinnamon gum. I could feel his heartbeat, or maybe it was mine, echoing in the space between us. Then he reached for another chip, breaking the moment, acting like nothing happened. But everything had already changed. The room was quieter now, the tension thicker. The second movie played on, forgotten. Caleb leaned further back, sipping slowly from his bottle, his gaze drifting toward the TV, but not really watching. I was barely breathing, every part of me aware of his presence, his legs still pressed against mine, his hand resting too close to mine on the couch cushion. You remember prom night? He asked suddenly, eyes still on the screen. I blinked. Yeah, you left early with Jenna. Yeah, but before that, we snuck off to the bleachers, smoked that awful weed and watched the stars. You said something then. Something about wondering if any of it girls, high school. The whole performance was real. I turned toward him, heart pounding. I was drunk. You told me I was just being dramatic. He smirked faintly. Maybe. Or maybe I didn't want to hear it out loud. There was a beat of silence. The air pulsed between us. He set his drink down and finally looked at me. Not casually, not with the usual mischief, but with a deep, serious intensity that sent chills down my spine. I haven't stopped thinking about you since then. I froze. He wasn't smiling. His jaw clenched slightly. I don't know what it means. I don't know if I'm gay or bi or just confused. But tonight, I came here because I wanted to see if the feeling was still there. And it is. He moved closer. I should have said something, should have pulled back, reminded him I was with Drew, reminded myself that this was a boundary, a line I had no business crossing. But I didn't. His hand brushed my knee, tentative but deliberate. My skin burned where he touched me. My thoughts swirled between desire, confusion, and guilt, like a storm I couldn't control. Caleb leaned in, his breath mingling with mine. The space between us vanished. His lips touched mine, softly at first. A test, a question. When I didn't move, he kissed me again, deeper this time. I kissed him back. There was no music, no thunder crashing in the distance. Just silence, just breath, just two people unraveling years of denial in a moment too dangerous to explain. His hand moved to the back of my neck, mine to his shoulder. The kiss grew hungry, urgent. We melted into the cushions, bodies pressed, emotions spiraling. It wasn't graceful. It wasn't careful. It was heat and tension and the unspoken truths we'd buried for years. When it was over, the room was darker. The TV still flickered blue and white, casting strange shadows on the walls. Caleb sat up slowly, breathing heavily, wiping his lips with the back of his hand. I didn't come here expecting that, he murmured, but I'm glad I did. I pulled the blanket over my legs, suddenly cold despite the heat still clinging to my skin. Caleb, I have a boyfriend. He nodded, eyes still fixed on floor. I know. I didn't mean for this to happen. He looked at me then, quiet but calm. Neither did I, but I'm not sorry. I didn't reply. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. A message from Drew. Can't sleep. Miss you. Everything okay? The sight of his name hit me, like a slap. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over it, not knowing what to say. Caleb noticed. You should answer him, he said softly. I turned the phone over instead, face down. I didn't mean to mess things up, he continued. I just needed to know. And now? I asked. He shrugged. Now I'm just more confused. I sighed and ran a hand through my hair. You're not the only one. He stood, pulling on his hoodie, avoiding my eyes. I should go. You don't have to. He paused by the door. Yeah, I do. I walked him out. No words. Just a nod. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving me alone with the echoes of everything we didn't say. Morning light spilled into the apartment like nothing had changed, but everything had. I sat on the couch, wrapped in the same blanket from the night before, staring at the blank TV screen. My body felt heavy, like guilt had settled into my muscles overnight. The silence around me was deafening, each tick of the wall clock echoing in my skull. Caleb was gone. His scent still lingered faintly on the cushion next to mine, beer, cologne, and something else. I had no idea where he went or what he was thinking now. Part of me wanted him to text. Another part dreaded it. My phone buzzed again. Drew, morning, babe. On my way back later today. Can't wait to see you. I stared at the message for a long time. The words were simple, sweet, filled with trust. I felt like I didn't deserve to read them. I didn't respond. I wandered into the bathroom, avoiding the mirror, but I caught my reflection anyway. My lips were still chapped. My eyes looked different, tired, maybe, or guilty. What did it mean that I kissed Caleb? That I let it happen? That I wanted it? The worst part wasn't that I had cheated. The worst part was that I didn't regret it. Not entirely. By noon, I still hadn't moved from the couch. Caleb's name flashed on my phone. Caleb, last night, I don't know how to process it. but I can't pretend it didn't mean something. I didn't reply. I couldn't, not yet. Around 3 p.m., I forced myself up and cleaned. Not for Drew, not for appearances, but for control. I needed to do something that made sense. I scrubbed dishes, vacuumed the carpet, folded throw blankets, trying to erase the weight of what had happened. But memories clung like dust in corners I couldn't reach. I sat down again and opened my photo gallery. Pictures of Drew and me, laughing at a beach trip, eating messy takeout, his arms around me during last winter's storm, his eyes always steady, always sure. He loved me. He trusted me. I had broken that. The door opened around 6. Drew walked in with his bag, smiling. "Hey, babe." I smiled back, weakly. "Hey." He dropped everything and wrapped his arms around me, kissing my temple. "God, I missed you." My throat closed up. I hugged him back, but it felt wrong. Like I didn't belong in his arms anymore. Like I was a different person than the one he left 2 days ago. We sat down for dinner. Pizza he picked up on the way. He told me stories about his mom, his little cousin's silly tantrums, the awful highway traffic. I nodded, laughed where I was supposed to, but I wasn't really there. He noticed. "Everything okay?" I hesitated, just tired. He touched my hand gently. "You sure?" I nodded. "Yeah, just need a little space to think." He tilted his head. "About what?" "About us," I said quietly. He didn't speak right away. His hand withdrew slowly. Did something happen? I couldn't meet his eyes. Not something I planned. But yeah, something happened. The silence that followed was thick and painful. I expected yelling. I expected anger. But Drew was still. Too still. "Do you love him?" he finally asked. "I don't know if it's about love." I said. "It was Caleb." Drew closed his eyes, as if the name alone knocked the air from his lungs. "Caleb." I nodded. "I trusted you," he whispered. "I trusted both of you. I didn't go looking for it." I said. "It just happened. And I hated myself the moment it was over. Do you want to be with him? I don't even know what he wants. I don't even think he knows." He stood, paced a little, then sat down again. "So what now?" "I think I need to be alone. I need to figure out why I let this happen and what it means. I owe you that honesty, at least." Drew nodded slowly. "I'm not going to make this harder. I just need space, too." That night, he packed a small bag and left. No shouting, no slammed doors. Just grief, the quiet kind that doesn't need volume to be felt. Later, I met Caleb at the park. We sat on a bench beneath the dying light of day. I told Drew, I said. Caleb looked down. "You hate me now?" "No, but I can't be the answer to your confusion." He nodded. "I'm sorry." We sat in silence for a while. "I think you need to figure yourself out before you bring someone else into your storm," I said. He wiped a hand across his face. "You're right." I stood up. "Goodbye, Caleb." He didn't stop me. As I walked away, the sky turned a deep blue. A quiet settled inside me. I had hurt someone who loved me. I had confused someone who trusted me. And I had to live with that. Some mistakes come with echoes. Some lessons arrive too late. But maybe, just maybe, the truth, however ugly, is the first step toward healing.